Wow, okay. I didn't realize my accent was going to be highlighted, but I can speak German, but it's pretty bad, so I will speak English. I think it's better for everybody. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to talk about technology in detail, so don't worry. I'm really not a technology guy, but what I'm about is using technology for business. And as it says, why technology matters and should matter to you if you're running a startup or a scale-up, or you're contemplating it, or if you're investing in it. I don't know if there's any investors here, if they're all upstairs having pitches, but this is important stuff, and we work a lot with investment community, with VCs and private equity companies to help provide the right technology to ensure that startups and scale-ups have the best chance of succeeding. So let's just talk about this. Because we're part of a big corporate, you'll see the name Oracle. I have to tell you, don't rush out and buy Oracle shares because of what you hear from me. You would be crazy. But that's what that says. If you're a startup, I mean, it's great starting a company. We've heard lots of people today who've started companies and had great fun. As soon as you get your first funding, actually, even if it's just, a family member, or if it's an angel investor, or if it's a venture capital fund or whatever, the game changes. It's not entirely your company. Even if you've still got a majority stake or whatever, you've got someone there who is now invested, literally invested in your company and your success, and they're going to place new types of demands on you. Right from that first stage of investment, right through to the time that you IPO or you sell or whatever the end game is of your journey, those demands are going to get more and more on you. And this is honestly where technology is going to be really important to you, and having the right systems and processes in place are as important as having the right people in place, which is also something we've talked about a lot today. So investors want you to be more professional. When you're a startup and you're a few people in a room and you've got a great idea and you go out and you build your company, or you create your product, or you make your food, or whatever it is you're going to do, that's great, and you can do that in quite a passionate way, and it can be amateur and you turn it into a professional way. But when you've got investors, they want you to be professional, and by that I mean they want you to answer questions. And they're going to ask questions, and they don't want you to say, well, I've got a feeling that, I'm running my company on gut feel. You'll hear founders talking about that sort of thing, and yeah, gut feel is really important. I started a startup in 2005 on gut feel. I thought that cloud software was going to be a thing, and I got told that it wasn't going to be a thing, but actually it was a thing. So it's one of the biggest ERP companies around today in the Salesforce community. But it's only so long you can run on gut feel, because investors are going to want answers to questions, and they aren't going to want guesswork. One of the things investors want is to see that your business is scalable. Because at the end of the day, you might be running your business as a lifestyle business or whatever, but investors are not investing in you for a lifestyle. Well, they are actually. They're investing in you because they want their lifestyle to be significantly better. They want to make a lot of money out of you, and they want to see that you're going to scale from where you are today, ideally very rapidly. They want to see you're going to be able to add new customers, you're going to be able to develop and launch new products, you're going to be able to enter new markets, you're going to be able to onboard new employees. We've heard people today talking about the challenges of recruiting, getting people onboarded, getting them up and operational and effective really fast. And all of that's really difficult. And you've got to achieve that if you're going to get to the valuations that those investors are going to expect. And they also want to see that you're going to be prepared for change. That you're going to be able to enter new markets, you're going to be extend into new geographies, you're going to maybe experiment and create new business models, you're going to launch new products or services, you're maybe going to play with new ways of delivery, new ways of pricing or producing your product. They know that you're going to have to change as you go on, you're going to have to innovate, and all of that requires you to have the right systems in the background that are going to allow you to do that. In particular, and this is a big one, no one really talks about it, they want you to be diligence-proof. What does that mean? you're going to have another liquidity event. Yeah, you take some initial investment, but they know, and everybody knows, that at some point you're going to need more investment, probably multiple rounds of investment. That's why we have Series A, Series B, Series C. You might go through a sale, you might go through an MBO, you might acquire other companies. Each of those stages, you will need to justify the valuation that you're putting on your company. Because whenever you raise money, there's a valuation made. In order to justify it, you need to be able to answer questions that the investors and potential investors will have. And again, it's got to be data-driven, it's got to be justifiable, it's got to be backed up by reality. You need those facts and figures at your fingertips. Not, oh, okay, I'll come back to you tomorrow, or oh, I think it's about this, you know. And that's not just really simple stuff, like, you know, what's your turnover, what's your profitability, etc. They're going to be answering all sorts of questions about cash burn, about customer acquisition rates, about product failure rates, about returns, unit production costs, which are your most profitable customers, which of your customers buy from you again, all those sort of things. A whole range of stuff, financial and non-financial, that you need to have at your fingertips. And to be ready to go through those diligence processes, whenever they happen, you need to have that data at your fingertips. And you need to have a compelling growth story, because for an investor to invest in you, they want to know, what's your growth story? Is it top-line growth? Are you going for profitability? Are you driving for market share? Are you going to be the biggest, the most innovative, the most international? What is it? And again, they're going to want data behind that, not just your gut feel of, we think we've got the best product in the world, or I've got this fantastic idea. So for all of this, you need a credible plan and you need data. Now, the classic when you start a company, and I'm sure many of you here have experienced it or may even be experiencing it now. You start a company and, you know, you maybe don't start on the back of a cigarette packet, but you might start with a Word document or a spreadsheet. And then when it gets a little bit more complicated, you might get a little accounting package or sign up for a $10 a month online cloud accounting system if you're quite sophisticated. And you'll probably get a CRM system as well. So you might sign up for Salesforce if you've got lots of money, or some other cheaper CRM system that's in the cloud. And that's all good. So you've got some customer data and you've got some accounting data, and then you might have something to run your operations. But the reality is you'll probably have spreadsheets. Excel spreadsheets are the #1 business system in the world and the biggest accounting system in the world. And they are absolutely unsuitable for running a company. So the classic is, as the company grows, it goes from 4 people, 5 people, 10 people, 15 people. You suddenly start losing control. It's all right when you can see everybody in a room and you know what's going on and you can ask Bob over there or Klaus over there what's happening. But as the company gets bigger, you start losing control. Spreadsheets are not a fantastic way of monitoring the business, because, you know, they're not real time and they've got to be moved about and people make mistakes and they're not good at sharing. And, you know, classically, this just gets out of control. So this is something that actually we experienced, and our founder, the founder of NetSuite, in the mid-90s, he started a company. Anyone who's old enough, you won't be old enough, I'm sure, but you may have heard of Macromedia Flash, which is a video delivery system. Well, he developed a competitor to that. At the time, there was no one kind of de facto system. And he built up a company up to 300 people. As it happened, Macromedia Flash kind of won the race and became the de facto delivery system, and his company failed. A bit like our last guest, he went through that failure. And while sitting thinking about what had happened, he thought, what were the challenges of running that business? And one of them was he felt out of control. And as the company got bigger, he had less and less visibility across the organization about the cash flow, about the customer win rates, about everything that was going on in the business. Just became harder and harder to control. And he thought, wouldn't it be great if I had an end-to-end system like people like Oracle or SAP create for the big companies out there, but if I had one that would run a startup or a scale-up end-to-end? And he set out to do that. And a guy called Larry Ellison, who is the founder of Oracle, but was a friend of his, actually put up the money. And in 1998, Larry said 2 really insightful things. One was put it online because people are going to get fed up with loading software off CDs. Some of you may remember that, a lot of you won't. Put it online. It wasn't called cloud then, but that's what he said you should do. And build a web shop. This is 1998, because Larry said people are going to want to buy stuff online. And that's a pretty insightful thing as well. I think we all agree that people do want to buy stuff online, and they do quite a lot of it. And so that's what he kind of set out to build. And he built this system that is, single data system. It runs your ERP, your financials, HR, CRM, e-commerce, professional services automation if you're a services company, or supply chain management if you're a product company. But all of it multi-everything, so you can run this anywhere in the world. But all designed for startups and scale-ups. So you can start small, but as you expand and you need more, you get more complex and you need more functionality, you can expand and use the system. And if you move into new countries, the system will work for you. So it's a pretty visionary and an amazing kind of thing he set out to do 21 years ago. But it's something that he achieved. And now today, 1/3 of our companies, our customers worldwide, are VC and private equity funded startups and scale-ups. We have startups and scale-ups who grow to be huge. Spotify and Lyft and GoPro and all sorts of other companies that have grown very large. 90% of IPOs, tech IPOs in the US, all run NetSuite today. Here in Germany, we're quite small. We're kind of a startup ourselves now, getting towards a scale-up. But we're hoping maybe with your help we'll get bigger. But we have some great customers here in Germany, people like meineStadt and Schmarto and a whole load of really interesting companies. We were here last year actually, and we signed up some customers who we'll be able to announce over the coming months. But yeah, that's our kind of story, and our passion really is to work with startups and scale-ups to create the right technology right from the start to allow you to grow, to allow you to scale, and therefore to allow you to attract the investment and answer the questions that those investors are going to have as you expand and as you get more successful. So that is my story. Thank you very much.